There's the hiccup. All right, everybody, welcome back to the vlog. Aaron's with me again tonight. Tonight we're going to be talking about Cleveland Cavaliers player Kevin Love.
Kevin Love.
Kevin Love suffered a panic attack in a game against the Atlanta Hawks on November 5th. I believe was this last year?
I think it was last year. Yep.
Okay. And he suffers from anxiety and depression. He Monday morning, a tweet was sent out from somebody's named Ryan Bradley, and it says his 11-year-old daughter struggles with anxiety and panic attacks. Now she stopped eating. We were in counseling, but it's very scary for me to watch as a father. I'm hoping that she gets the chance to meet you soon, being Kevin Love. Kevin Love is her hero. So Kevin Love replied, what did he say? I lost it. He said he can't wait to meet her and give her a big hug, I think. So soon, sounds like she's going to be meeting Kevin Love in the near future. Love's in-game panic attack was quite scary. During a timeout in the third quarter, the former UCLA standout made his way to the Cavs locker room. This was no ordinary break, though, as he was experiencing increased heart rate, dizziness, and shortness of breath, which is obviously he's suffering from a panic attack, which I've had panic attacks, and I can tell you personally that they are quite scary. One panic attack, I actually went to immediate care because I thought I was having a heart attack. That's how bad it was. So, yeah, my whole body was like numb, like tingling. I was dizzy, and I had shortened breath. Thankfully, it wasn't anything serious. It was just, a panic attack's a pretty serious thing, but, it wasn't anything worse than that. So, excuse me. They said Love was taken to a nearby hospital where his vitals and heart were checked, and he has since written an essay for the Players Tribune, which is entitled "Everyone is Going Through Something." And it says, in this article, Love revealed that he was reluctant to talk about his mental health for the majority of his life. Now that he's opened up about his disorder, it seems he's ready to help those who share a similar ailment. So, and a quote from Kevin Love says, "For 29 years, I thought about mental health as someone else's problem." And then he goes on to say, mental health isn't just an athlete thing. What you do for a living doesn't have to define who you are. This is an everyone thing, which is absolutely true. We've spoke about this in our other vlog, saying that, mental illness can affect anybody. It doesn't matter who you are, where you are in life. You can have, mental health issues, and they can be quite serious. It doesn't matter if you're a basketball player or some guy who works at Burger King or something like that. You can have issues with mental illness. So that's one important thing I think that he says in his essay. And it really drives home the point that, nobody's like untouchable from mental illness, So, right. So,
What's the best part? There's the best part of this whole situation that we haven't even gotten to yet, which I think is amazing.
Which being what?
What happened a year later on Christmas?
Oh, when he met her?
Yeah, well, they had already met and had engaged several times, but they got together. Well, there was an announcement a year later by the same father who put the first tweet out talking about the problems that his daughter had been having.
Right.
And so they actually met, got together, and there's a nice picture of Kevin Love and her embracing. There's a hug. He's like 11 years old, so it's like a huge moment in her life, in her maturation, meeting someone she idolizes. And then the father tweets out, on Christmas 2019, that since meeting Kevin Love, she wasn't eating at the time. Now she eats all the time. Uh, her schooling has improved dramatically. She has straight A's now, and she hasn't had any panic attacks since then. So like to me, it's like, well, the power of human connection, right, is vital as well. Like the socialization process and engaging and connecting with human beings is so vital in terms of mental health in a lot of ways.
Oh
And I
yeah,
thought that was just
absolutely.
amazing to see this young girl completely transform, her condition simply, well, not in large part due to her interaction with Kevin Love, and also in conjunction with the treatment and so on and so forth and following things. But the power of human connection is just um, pretty evident in this case, I think. So, but,
Yeah, I agree. It's pretty amazing what something can, like a human connection like that, how much of an impact it can have on somebody and their mental wellness. You know,
yeah,
it's
absolutely.
it's a it's a tough thing to go through, and it definitely helps other people who suffer from mental illness to know that they're not alone. And
Yeah,
someone from his what's the word I'm looking for? Someone of his stature reaching out to this little girl, must have meant the world to her, you
oh
know,
yeah.
So it's
Change
been,
your entire perspective. It's like I'm dealing with this situation, but I'm dealing with it by myself. But I see this person over here who's just like, huge, and they're dealing with stuff too. But you know, uh, being a lifetime away, it's like you're there, but you're not there. It's like I see you, but I can't interface with you. And
right.
to have that connection must have been like overwhelming. So it's
Yeah.
just, I think it's a great story. I think it's a
Yeah.
great story.
I
Yeah.
agree with you. It is great. It's nice to see that people like that aren't above like meeting somebody, who's in a different world than they are, and just to um, spend time with them and talk to them about, the same issues that they're having. I mean, they're like from two completely different worlds,
Yeah.
and they came together, and and it's helped her significantly improve with her ailments and everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
It's just not, and I think it's also um, kind of like, it also kind of touches a little bit on kind of where we're at as a society to some degree too.
yeah,
We're very like fragmented and separated, you
yeah,
know, and I think we need to have greater connectivity and less isolation. Isolation is really not. I mean, obviously, this young girl has a family, and it's not exactly analogous to what I'm saying. But I think, generally speaking, a lot of people who are suffering from mental illness and mental disorders and so on and so forth are very isolated, and when they're just like everybody else, and they need that human connection, probably even more so. And even if you are someone who doesn't have a full-on, continuous illness, when you're isolated, the likelihood of you having a complication is going to rise astronomically. So,
yep,
um, just to kind of bring it back to that in-person socialization process and connectivity. So,
right, right.
yeah,
Yeah, that's one thing people with mental illness tend to do is they tend to isolate when things get bad. I mean, that's a clear sign of like serious depression is when somebody starts to isolate themselves from everybody else. So for her to um, meet Kevin Love and everything, and her, to help with counseling and with her family and everything like that. Thankfully she didn't, start isolating herself because symptoms can get dramatically worse when you do isolate yourself and you don't treat these symptoms.
yeah.
So
And sometimes you'll have people who aren't suffering from anything, but
yeah,
bring about the onset of something because it's like, oh, I'm going after this goal in life, and I'm gonna go do this, and I'm over here by myself, and I'm like, I'm just focus on what I have to do, and then they get so down, far down this path that they don't, things start to creep into their life, like, oh, I've been isolated so far, but I'm there's a change in me that's happening. Like I'm feeling more down and more, and like because they brought about those symptoms by causing the symptoms by how they're living their life, you know,
Right.
so, in the reverse, I guess, kind of way, you know.
Right. Right. I can tell you just real quick from now, like, just for me personally, as far as anxiety goes, I mean, even just me doing these blogs, it gives me anxiety. It just, I don't know what it is about it, but it's probably just being on camera and being in front of however many people, it just the thought of that, it definitely makes my anxiety go up. There's numerous blogs where I've done where my anxiety is like through the roof, but I try to capture that so that people can understand what it's like to go through something like that.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
Yeah, it's important that people understand and get a better depiction of what life is actually like when people are dealing with what they're dealing with.
right, right, yep. I think that's an important point to drive home. So, yeah, it's just anxiety is hard to convey through certain mediums, but I try to do my best in my blogs when I talk about my mental illness in itself, to convey that to people, like what it feels like. So, but in any event, I feel like this was a great article.
Yeah,
It was a great article. I feel like more people should know about this stuff. I think it's great what Kevin Love's doing, as far as being open about his mental illness, and hopefully it'll help other people. Maybe there may be other people who are in the same world as him who are dealing with mental illness, and maybe help them come forward about their issues, and get more help, and help other people be inspired to get the treatment that they need.
yeah, and foster that connectivity and that human connectivity and the shared story and the shared situation and bring about that warmth and connectedness that people need generally speaking, but absolutely 100%. So that was
Right.
great.
Definitely, definitely. So I think this is a good spot to wrap it up for now. I hope you all enjoyed the vlog and got something out of this. We're really trying to drive home the point of, being open about your mental illness. I think it's very important that, you do so. And if you are having symptoms, don't be afraid to talk to somebody about it. And not only that, but try to have a good support system in place too, because the people around you can help tremendously. So just that human connection that we were talking about. So, but I think this is like I said, a good spot to wrap it up. So if you have anything else to say, or
I think the close the summation was perfect. So
awesome. So that's it from us for now. Thanks everybody who watched. Thanks again to Aaron for joining me.
thanks for
Uh,
having me.
oh, of course. And if you could leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe, I'd appreciate it. All the feedback is always appreciated. And we'll see you guys in the next one.